and welcome to LLMix, the Tech Mahindra podcast where we go behind the scenes at the world's leading media organizations and explore how they are using GenAI in their daily media operations. My name is Chauhan, and I lead the media and entertainment competency for Tech Mahindra globally. Today, we're joined by the editor-in-chief of Ippen Digital, Markus Knall. Markus, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me. I take over and share my screen.
Thanks. And it would be great if you could maybe introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your personal journey, and then move into the history of Ippen Digital.
Yes, I start with the history of Ippen Digital, and the best way to describe my job and to describe what we are doing is this map. It shows that we created a network of media brands, and it's the biggest digital network of media outlets in Germany. We have more than 50 different brands and news websites running on our system, and the huge difference and our special approach in Germany at least is that we created one single huge newsroom behind all those brands, which means this is not 50 different media brands with 50 different newsrooms. So there are a lot of brands, and most of them are managed by one single huge newsroom. And as editor-in-chief and director of content, I'm responsible for this digital network and for the newsroom running this network. Okay, so this is Ippen, and some figures about Ippen. We produce within this network more than 2,000 stories a day, coming partly from print, partly from online, but in the end it's 2,000 articles a day. We have more than 200 journalists only in the online part of this media group, and we have more than 1,000 editors coming from print, producing also content for our network, and there are even more freelancers. I don't know, 1,000 more freelancers or so contributing content to our network. We have more than 50 brands, and we reach more than half of the population in Germany with all the brands clicking at least one time in a month on one of our articles or websites or whatever. So this is only the portal network. We also have a huge social media network with more than 300 Facebook sites and more than 17 million Instagram followers and so on. So our approach and our solution for the huge change in the media industry is to create platforms and networks, because we think it's the best answer to all the changes we are facing right now. We all know print is going down, losing subscribers, and we need new revenue streams, we need new models, and network and platform economy is the best answer, we think, kind of copying all the platform models we know from Google or Facebook also, and so on. We try to build this platform. The platform is even bigger than all the medias that belong to the Ippen family. There are also partners running their websites on our technology, getting content from our newsroom, and they say they want to be part of the success model and come into our network. So they are not owned by the Ippen family, but they are partner in this network. So the network is much bigger than just what the Ippen media company is like. So that's Ippen. And that's what we are doing. And our vision is we want to create an AI-driven newsroom, because we have always been very tech-driven. We are a very tech-driven newsroom. Our founder considers himself as a tech nerd and says we are a tech company, and I say, okay, we're a tech company, but we're also a media company. But in general, you see, we consider ourselves as very tech-driven, and so AI is nothing new for us, and we want to be in front and not behind. So AI-driven newsroom is our vision, and we're on a pretty good way, and I would show you some details, and that's the second part. How do we use AI in our newsroom? So I'll start with the easy.
Markus,
Yeah.
if I may just interrupt and pardon me, but if I can just go back to a point you made earlier, where you mentioned that you have over 50 news brands which are powered by one newsroom. So two questions come to mind. One is that unlike legacy publishers, some of the biggest names in the world who have multiple news brands globally, they have a lot of technical debt where they have old legacy CMSs or old media asset management systems where all the data is in silos. But in your case, since you're a relatively newer and possibly a digital first brand, do you have one newsroom that's powered by one common publishing system, like one large CMS or one large asset management system that's common to everything? Or do you also have the problem of content and data in various silos, which is a little difficult to integrate?
Well, one decisive point of our success in the past was that we changed all our online editors on one single technical platform. We created our CMS, and all journalists, editors, whatever, have to work on this single system. We are right now in the process of migrating all the legacy journalists from our print products into the same system. And in the end, there will be, I don't know, 2,000 people running on the same system. It doesn't matter if it's a small local newspaper, or it's like the German BuzzFeed, or it's like any other brand we have. We run on one single system, and that's absolutely decisive for our success. And we created a lot of workflows how to exchange content. Content can be distributed on all the websites at the same time, on a few websites, or just on a single website. And we can create versions of contents for this website and a different version for another website. And all these logic behind these mechanisms is our secret sauce within the success. And we can create, since we are so huge, we have more than 500 million page views each month. We create content within ourselves by sending people from one website to another and so on. So if the platform economy is huge enough, you can create traffic within yourself. And that is what we are doing. And the point is, there is one technique stack underneath all what we are doing.
Got it. Thanks.
So how do we use AI in our newsroom? So I start with the easy cases. I think creating headlines and creating leads is what all publishers are currently working on. We integrated it into our CMS, which is cute. That's a content entry you are using. And you see that it's deeply integrated into the CMS and just one click away. And that's what mainly everybody's doing right now. And that is no new stuff. We developed that, I think, a year ago or so. And I would say that's the main case right now and everybody's working on. Well, more interesting is maybe that we also created our own recommendation system, more articles about. We have different versions of recommendation systems to keep readers within our articles and read another story and let them stay within our network. And that's also not new. Machine learning recommendation is not new since ChatGPT. That's comparatively old stuff, but that's important for us. Running a huge network, a lot of different brands needs recommendation to send people from one brand to another. But that's also a field for AI. More interesting is maybe how important AI changed the video production. We produce now 4 times more videos with the same team, with the same staff in the team than 2 years ago, using AI at any stage of the production process, from scripting, from voices, avatars, cutting, whatever it is. It's 4 times more content than 2 years ago. And important in the video sector is it's always a buy case, it's never a make case. We would never ever invest with our own resources, development resources into video. There are plenty of tools outside. There are so many companies offering a lot of different tools that can help you in any stage of the producing process or post-production or pre-production or whatever it is. And it's just about finding the right tool, implementing it wisely into the workflow, and then you can double, triple, or fourfold the content output. That's important. That's very important for us. We have about 200 million video views per month on our websites. So video is very important for us. High income, high revenue, but we would never invest into the technology producing video. Yeah, that is what you can always buy. That would be my recommendation if somebody in Germany would ask me. Yeah. But it's so important.
Sorry to interrupt, but are you using any tools that perhaps dig back into your text archives and convert text archives into video animations, or having an avatar read out an old piece of news? Is there any way that you're using AI to enrich today's storytelling by dipping into archives from the past?
Yes, we're checking that, and that's one way to produce videos. A better way is to produce unique content, really video-driven content, and not try to copy print text into video. The quality is much better if you let the video guys produce their own content. Doesn't matter if it fits to an article. That's just not important. Some ask me, does the video within an article need to be of the same topic than the article itself? I would say no, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just it has to find its own success, the video, with the article or not, doesn't matter. So they're pretty separated, the video department and the text producing newsroom, and they run their own content.
Got it.
We created our own system to produce AI supported. Beside our CMS, we have a second system to be very quick in testing new workflows and new techniques. So we have two systems running, and I want to focus on, that was German, I'm sorry. And I want to focus on 3 use cases, because they are all important, but I don't want to tell you more about audio. Everybody's working in audio and transcription. That's nothing new, or picture creating, generating. I want to focus on a few things that I think we are maybe unique in. Yeah. So we start with rewriting articles. If you have more than 2,000 articles a day, in addition to what we already have in the archives, producing articles very quickly is important, and rewriting could be content from the news agencies or press releases from the police or any other press release, and to rewrite the text and not spending too much time in comparatively easy content is very important for us. So we have this tool, and you throw in the content you have, and you get 3 different versions for headline, for lead, and even the complete article. And editors can say, I take this one or that one, or here the headline, and this is the article, and then we go out with a complete text. So that's important, because the amount of content you can produce is huge at that step. That's maybe not deep journalism content. That's not a lot of research work, but that's the basement of journalistic work, rewriting news agencies or rewriting press releases. So that's not high quality journalism, but that's what we all need to do in like local journalism areas, where it's important to have a lot of mass. You have to handle every day. Okay, so another tool important for us is our chatbot, Chat with the Archive. So that's maybe a case a lot of other media companies working on. What's important here is we chat with our own archives, and we write questions in advance. We know that users usually don't enter questions into that chatbot. users are lazy. Yeah, they want to type something in. They want to just read and click. And so we create questions that possibly could be asked by our audience. And so they just click on the question and they get answers. They are already rendered. They have the answers ready, and we show them the sources, of course, our own medias. And then you get another question and so on, and people stay with us as long as possible, and the only thing they have to do is just to click, and nobody has to enter any questions they would never do. Yeah, it's the same like with ChatGPT. If you say to somebody, here's ChatGPT, try and use it, most people answer to me, I don't know what to enter. Yeah, what should I type in? Yeah, and that's the decisive point with all the answering machines and all the answering competitors to Google. Yeah, you don't wait for the user. You have to give them questions they probably would ask. So that's what we are producing, and we hope that we could keep users longer within our articles and longer on our websites. And maybe we can also add ads within that conversation of the chatbot. We don't know, but that's in the backend. It's ready in the backend. We are in the process of implementing it in the front end.
And have you also maybe trained or maybe fine-tuned any LLM on your internal operational data? So you could perhaps query it saying, how did we cover the previous Olympics 4 years ago? Or what was our budgets? Or which correspondence did I deploy on which particular site? So do you have operational training as well? Or that's a different...
You mean training our own models?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me 2 or 3 slides and I come to the point. Our own model. Okay, so that was a chatbot with our own archive, and this is that's an important and powerful tool because it's very general. It's not too specific, but that gives him maybe the power it has. You enter different sources like a link or a PDF or any text you can copy in, and you give an instruction, whatever a journalist needs, and then you get out content. For example, here are 2 website links and summarize me the content. Or here is a PDF, please write me a gloss about it, or an opinion piece about it. And we also add the author to imitate the style of a category or the style of a brand. So I don't want to have any ChatGPT summarization or gloss or whatever. I want to have in our own brand style content. So this is so huge because journalists and editors can experiment what they can do with all the different sources. They can combine 2, 3, 4, or 5 different sources of whatever kind, text, link, or just any PDF, and recombine the situation, and we have a look on what will the use cases be our editors will use this powerful tool for, and then we can adjust it. We know that part of this tool is for SEO, so we know producing a creation story. Here is an important message running on whatever BBC it is. Please write me a summarization about I need this article for citing BBC. So this is a SEO case, and for sure people will use this tool for that. Yeah, we know that, and it's already in our newsroom for that case. But there will be many more use cases and many more workflows once people started using that tool. So that's important for us. It's called Kalium. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It's just a name. You guys give it.
Is this one of the favorite tools of your journalists where they can get a lot of work done with minimal effort?
Since it's so fresh, and I think it will be one of the favorite tools.
So I'm curious to know, how did you get the tone of voice or like the writing style? How have you kind of executed on that?
Yeah, how do we get the tone of voice? Yeah,
Markus, you've gone on mute. I think accidentally you've gone on mute.
Sorry.
There you go.
So we created what we call our own house models based on a foundation model like GPT or whatever foundation model you can use. We fine-tuned those models to imitate our own brand style. So articles on Merkur should sound like Merkur. And we can do that we started with 3 brands, but we could do that for all our 50 different brands. And that's important for us because we think users it's a difference if you get brand style content. It's much better for users and they stick longer to it than any general content. For example, there could be difference in contents like a regional difference. In southern Germany, the same word is pronounced or used differently than in northern Germany or in eastern Germany, or there are some political issues that are on one brand different than on the other brand, and to adjust a basic content, the basic information to the different bands. That's what our house models are trained for.
So, if I may ask, like how many different journalists' tone of voice did you train, your house models on? Like the entire journalistic staff, or maybe it's a small subset, and how long did it take you guys to do that?
We have journalists in our AI team, and they tested and trained our house models, and then we start. That's the next step. Is we start to use to find one team in our newsroom to test the tools, but we started within the AI team. There are 3 journalists working on that. Yeah. And the question is.
Oh, Markus, you've got on mute again.
I'm sorry, Ron. So
no problem.
What does it look like? So you can see if we say, for example, create a headline with Mistral. Mistral is one of a huge European foundation model, create headlines for our articles, and you see the result is very different. Yeah, sometimes you get a headline, but there is no cliffhanger. Sometimes you don't even get a headline, or it's much too long. It's more a lead than a headline. So the quality is very, very different. So, and here is our Merkur style fine-tuned LLM. And what you see is we get exactly the type of headlines in our tone of voice, in our specific style we want to have. We have the cliffhangers in, and the length is correctly, and the style and the tone of voice is exactly what we need for our brand Merkur. So you can see obviously the difference between a non-fine-tuned model and our own house model.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, and so what's the next big thing for us? We saw all these small tools like headline and lead creation, that's fine. And we saw the big area of house models bringing us into the next big step. So, and the next beside our house models, big step is what we see as far as AI agents. When we start to combine all these small tools we already have, maybe even the video guys and the text guys and so on, we are working on AI agents. We think this is the best bet for the next future.
And how do you plan to use these agents? I mean, do you plan to set up have agents act as a mini newsroom with input editor, output editor, and then carry out functions? Or how do you plan to use these agents?
We are in the beginning of this process, and we have two ways of approaching the problem. One is what is the technique that is necessary to run AI agents, and the other is what are the use cases in the workflows in the newsroom where we need agents for. And right now we are doing research work on both sides, and in the next weeks we try to bring that together, the right technique for the right use cases. We have a lot of ideas in our minds, but having ideas is one thing, and really helping the newsroom is a complete different thing. So it's research work right now, but we know this is the next major field of AI. So I changed to the topic strategy and management. So I'm just the editor in chief. I'm not an AI engineer. So I'm very interested in all the strategy questions or management question. And my advice is when other media companies come to me and say, Markus, what can we do? How to enter into the AI area as a newsroom? I say, please, this is my 3-step navigator I would recommend to anybody. And important is the second point, strategy. The traditional legacy media way of implementing strategies, doing analytics work and research work and creating options and decision making and then implementing, this old way will never ever work in the AI section. Most managers have no clue about AI. They just don't know nothing about. They can even see the difference between AI and machine learning, and everything is AI now. So I would recommend, don't do a strategic process in a traditional way in advance. You have no clue. And when I'm asked, what should I start with? I say, just start. You don't know. It doesn't matter. Start with any project that is mid-size, not too huge to let the company collapse, not too small to gain momentum, but just start and have in mind you will fuck the first project up anyway. It doesn't matter what to start with. Yeah, just start. You have no clue about strategy. And once you learned how to use AI and once you fucked up the first project, then you can start into the strategy process. Please don't do the traditional media legacy way of finding strategies. Yeah, there is no way for it. Yeah, it's just too fast. This area is just too fast. Yeah, you can't keep up with it. Communication is an important third step because we know AI fails in newsroom not because of technical issues. Technique is never the problem. It fails when it comes to ethical or moral discussions. Is my job still safe? Who's the decision maker about AI? And so on and so on. So you have to address ethical topics very, very early, and you have to have a communication strategy and rules and like code of conduct and bring a lot of knowledge to the people, or you have the problem to bring AI at all into the newsroom. AI in newsrooms is never a technical problem. It's always a communication problem. And communication in both ways, to the audience and to the editors. You have to communicate with both, as a manager and leader, you have to communicate with both groups, audience and editors. So this is the 3-step navigator. It helped me very much. And another important question is, where should an AI team be organized? The traditional way would be there is a tech department somewhere in the company and there are a lot of smart minds working on machine learning, and they say all machine learning is nothing new. We know all that shit long before. Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about. So, but as long as AI is in the tech department and it's considered as they're the freaks and geeks sitting in the cell area, there will be never an AI strategy. Our CEO decided to shift the AI team from the tech department to the editor-in-chief. So it's very close to the use cases, it's very close to the audience, and we produce things that are really needed in the newsroom or really needed for our audience. And you get things done. And you need to empower management and leaders, other way AI will fail. So our decision was AI changed to the newsroom, and the AI team, I can show you that here. We have more than 10 people here. Some of them, there are more AI engineers like machine learning experts or developers. There are more tech guys than editors in it, and it's still my team. So I'm, as an editor-in-chief, I'm responsible for a lot of tech guys. But that's the point. Yeah. That's the point. And it's not that our tech department is out in AI. They are pretty much involved. But to bring to get things done, it needs to be on the operation within the operational unit. So that's why it's right next to me, the team.
So if I can just ask, what's the difference here between the AI editor and the AI engineer?
The engineer is they're developers, machine learning expert, computer linguist, and the editor is a journalist that is trained, or a prompt editor. They are trained on prompting or testing the tools, or they have this journalistic. They all come from the newsroom, yeah, and changed into the AI team, and they know what their colleagues need in the newsroom.
But looking in from the outside and having spoken to a few other leaders from newsrooms across the world, I'd probably say that org chart that you showed me in the slide before could probably be one of the biggest factors in the success, of deploying AI at Ippen Digital, because where you actually have shipped products which are not prototypes or POCs, but they're actually functional AI units within your newsroom. So probably having the AI team reporting into journalists is a fantastic move.
Yeah, and that's maybe the reason why they already shipped and produced so much. Because as an editor-in-chief and as director, I want to see not a good architecture of IT behind that. I don't care about that. I want to see products. I want to see more traffic. I want to see more revenue. I want to see less time journalists doing stupid things. And I put pressure on the team to give me support in that. And I don't care how the architecture behind it is. I don't care what foundation model they use or what technique they use. I want to see progress, and that's the difference. It's not that all tech guys are love their own technology, but if you're in a tech department, there is a risk that they're playing more with the technology than focusing on delivering success. Maybe. Okay, to the communication part is very important. I showed you a few slides before, and to address the communication issues, we created this approach of the editor-centric AI production. So we involve editors in all stages of AI. Not only the 3 guys in the AI team, but the whole newsroom with all the more than 200 editors in the digital area. And we have like discovery sessions, we have kind of internships, we have kind of AI editors in teams. They're responsible to bring AI into their department and section, and we work very closely, and that's important to focus AI on products and outcomes that is useful for the newsroom or the audience. And at the same time, with the human in the loop principle, you reduce fears, you reduce discussions, and you reduce and you increase the probability that AI is successfully introduced into a newsroom. So bringing people close to AI reduces a lot of fear. So in the end, it's protagonist. So some key learnings from me, looking back for the last maybe 2 years. AI is actually already a part of our work. We produce millions of page views with articles that are supported by, essentially supported by AI tools. It's already part of our life. The focus of most media companies is about efficiency as far as I can see. There are hardly any really audience products with their own revenue stream. It's mainly about reducing time for editors or producing more content in the same time. It's an efficient game. That's fine for this early stage of AI in this AI area. But I know this will never be enough. We will enter into the stage maybe end of this year or next year when more media companies need to find real business models and real use cases for audiences, because efficiency is good for a company. When all companies do have the same cases, like we all produce headlines with ChatGPT, there is no USP anymore for the single company. We are all much faster, and the USP is just gone. And I see this even within this year, when all the major CMS producing companies launch their AI initiatives, and we all have AI in all the CMS. If you're an advanced media company or not, you get AI and you all get the efficiency advantage. So efficiency is not enough anymore. Maybe next year or so, we need to develop products and real business cases.
So if I can just maybe interrupt here and ask you that, since you say that even you're in the process of creating AI-led products and moving beyond efficiencies, is there anyone in the entire global media space that you can look up to and say, wow, these guys have actually moved beyond efficiencies and they've rolled out a great AI product? Is there anyone that comes to your mind?
Yeah, you surely may know Springer and the Bild Zeitung, one of the biggest players in Germany, and they produced a chatbot they call Hey, and Hey is maybe the biggest audience AI product I know so far that is really designed for users and not for editors. There are maybe other products, but this is maybe the biggest, and they have millions of page views on their chatbot. And it's interesting how they developed it from in the beginning, just connecting the API of ChatGPT, and now they have their own content and have editors working on it and have their own questions and answers. It's very brand specific now, and they developed this product. And that's maybe one of the very few, or maybe the only, I don't know, products that are really designed for users and not for editors.
Right. Yeah, the FT also is rolling out something similar. I believe it's still in beta. They haven't rolled it out initially, but I mean to public. But yeah, that's something that they've done.
But Springer wasn't the first with a chatbot model. Yeah. But you see, most companies in the media sector focus on the same use cases, and that's a problem. We all do the same headline and lead, have all the same thoughts. We all do rewriting agency content. We all talking about chatbots. So this is fine for the beginners, but in this or next year, when we all doing the same things, so where is the competitive advantage for a single media? It's gone, and we need to think more creatively. What would be specific for my brand, or for my topic, or for my category? And that's still a problem. We are all working on the same use cases. That's kind of frustrating after 1.5 years.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So our answer is to work on our network. Our answer is to create our house models. Our answer is to find the niche in this huge network and give support to this network approach instead of single brands, because single brands have the same use cases, but network creates different use cases nobody else would need. So this is my key learnings, and I'm happy to hear about questions if you have so.
Yeah, just one question before we wrap, which is that you mentioned that you will be in the process of rolling out AI agents shortly. So it's more of a question on communication, really. That how have you dealt with questions from maybe journalists that say that now stories can be summarized by the in-house model, and soon there'll be agents that will be performing the function of curating of news, deciding, or even coming up with a forward planning editorial calendar of what's to be covered over the next maybe month or 2 months. So where does that leave the human? I mean, surely there's been a lot of work that's been replaced by the bot. How would you kind of respond to that?
I don't think replacement is the topic. Most journalists tell me I'm so happy that I don't have to type my interview myself that there is a subscription tool. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I don't have to rewrite this news agency myself. We have plenty of work. We have really trouble finding new editors. There's a lack of good editors in Germany, and we have more work than we can handle. And most people tell me I'm happy to get the support as long as I can do my basic journalistic work. And there is no fear about that. There is no AI going outside and talking to people, or there is no AI calling sources and discussing with them there. That's what journalists need to do. I don't want to see any editor typing interviews from the record into text. I don't want to see that anymore, and I'm so happy to have AI doing that for me.
Yeah. I can see that shift happening too, where a lot of the grunt work is being eliminated slowly, and journalists are getting back into real investigative journalism or real storytelling away from the grunt work.
Those colleagues who see their work only in the basement work and the base work, they fear they have fear of losing their job. Yeah, but they would lose their job anyway, because that's not the real worthful journalistic work.
True. Well, Markus, this has been an extremely enlightening conversation, and thank you so much for all the insights that you've given us and the global audience that will be viewing this shortly. So I want to thank you for your time and say thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.